Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's able to hear me well now. I've been reconnected to my phone audio. I would request one of you to please let me know in the chat window so I can continue. In the meantime, welcome to uLaw's another CPD webinar. We have a new topic today. This is also entitled for a 1 hour of professionalism CPD credits. And topic for today's session, as you all can see on the screen, how do you ensure BX, CX, UX, and PX is high for your law office? We are going to see all of these in the next few slides in detail, of course. We're going to see what is brand experience. X here represents experience. We're going to see brand experience, customer experience, user experience, and product experience. As a law office, whether you're a paralegal or a lawyer, there are some things that are needed to be done beyond satisfaction for your clients, especially during the time of servicing them and at the time of communicating with them and ensuring that all their requirements have been met, not just by fulfilling their core needs, which is the legal service, but going a little beyond that and ensuring they are being satisfied by providing them a brand experience. And from there, giving the customer an experience of how you as a legal professional would deal with them at the best of knowledge. And we're also going to see user experience and product experience being covered by the services that you're rendering. So this is kind of a light topic. I know the last few weeks we have been having back and forth numbers, reconciliations, all of these disbursements, all accounting related stuff, because I know we were all focusing on annual report submissions. So I wanted to focus on the financial part as well in the last few weeks. Now that we're all done, I hope everyone has submitted their annual reports. Everyone is, a little bit more relaxed. And I thought I'll take a little light topic, a little, something different from our regular financials, compliances, numbers, whatnot. So I thought this is a nice topic that would, help you to brush up on your values, to, to maybe even rethink on a few points that you're working on, like, how to deliver your client with a classy brand experience. How do you represent your firm? What do you do to reflect the values and competencies that you would like to showcase to your client in the form of your brand? So we're going to discuss all of these today in the webinar, and I'm sure that everyone would be really, enjoying it while go back and implement it and come back with more reviews and feedbacks. In the meantime, I'd request even one of you could let me know in the chat window if I'm audible, since I switched between the audios from computer to phone. If one of you can let me know on the chat window, it will be really great. So, I don't want you all to be, I hope you all can hear me now. I'm pausing for a moment just to make sure that even one of you reply would make a difference. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Stephen. So I'm going to continue. So we were talking about brand experience. So we are focusing on 4 of these factors here. That is brand experience, once again, customer experience, user experience, and product experience. Starting off with brand experience. This is something that is needed right from the beginning or servicing your clients. Now, even I would say even before servicing your clients. So this is where people recognize you as a firm, and this is the brand value is what kind of is instilled in their mind. And when they reach out to you, they look at you as a brand. They look at you as a firm than an individual. So how do you represent your firm, and what do you do for that? And at the same time, your brand would be something that you want to provide the client a feel for what they need. You want your brand to give them confidence in service, give them the excellent feeling, give them what they need, what your team will be able to deliver. But how do you convey this to them? In different ways, right from the time, you put up your marketing stuff, you have a nice website, or let's say you're not that big enough yet, you're a small office, you're a sole proprietor, or you're a small professional corporation. You're trying to do it all through emails and maybe a little client portal. That's where you use a program where that would allow you to send out emails to the client, take a nice client intake form online, make it look more automatic, but at the same time have a personal touch with the templates that you would use. And a brand experience starts off with something more catchy, which is like you have a nice logo, nice banner, nice letterhead. When I mean nice, more standardized, at the same time professional looking, so that they get the confidence while looking at the logo, looking at your brand name, looking at your letterheads. It could be right from the time you send them an intake form, like I said, to the time you send them an agreement, which is the retainer letter, one of the first piece of agreement that you get into with them. So all of these is where you would give them the confidence in the service that you are going to provide them in the next few days, or sometimes weeks, months together. So please, if you're someone who do not have any of these, starting off simple with a simple logo, banner, letterhead. Now, if you're a uLaw user, uLaw allows you to upload your own logo and banner into the program. That will come up on all the documents, client-facing documents especially, that you're sending them, right, from the agreement, retainer letters, invoices, receipts, whatnot. So most of these are about, catching the attention of your client, but in a more positive manner, to showcase your brand value to them. So that's where you start giving them the brand experience. Slowly moving on, when they start, interacting with you, when they start, because brand experience is even before you start interacting with them. Even before the client meeting, I would say the initial client meeting, because brand experience is more of visual representations, more of, what they see on the logos and banners and letterheads and, maybe your websites or et cetera, more of a visual representation. At the same time, the professional imprint that you're giving them, the confidence that you're giving them. And of course, then follows the customer experience, because as you start interacting with them, as you start engaging them with services, that is where they get into the customer experience. Now, this starts right from the time of engagement and continues until throughout you give them their services, render the services, and you deliver a final closure letter to them. Now, like I said, some files or matters could go on for days, months, weeks, years. For those, you would start off with a welcome letter or a retainer letter or a client intake letter, and then start servicing them as you progress through every stage or phase of their file. You keep updating them. You keep providing them with information such as, this is what is current balance in your trust. This is what you owe me. This is what I've billed you so far. And these are the activities, or these are the dockets. I would say these are keep giving them regular updates in the form of a statement of activity, settlement statement, maybe a trust plus general ledger to let them know what is really happening at the back end, right? Because most of the times when you're servicing a client for months together, they lose track of what they have paid you, what you have charged them, what they owe you more, or what can they expect in the coming days. So as you keep them engaged in the conversation, and every consultation you provide them with a nice end letter or a document sharing details of what has happened so far, which is mostly what is called as a statement of activity and a settlement statement. Sometimes people like to also share, like I said, trust plus general to show the finances. Now, it is what is perceived end of the day by the customer with every time you share a piece of information with them proactively than waiting for them to ask you. Proactively sharing some information with them, letting them know that, hey, you know what, thank you for signing the engagement letter. Here's the retainer letter. Here's a copy of a receipt that you had provided for the retainer. And here is an invoice for the service that has been rendered last week. And here is the statement of activity or a trust plus general ledger showing the outcomes or showing the details as to outlining everything that you would like to specifically share with this particular client, and give them a beautiful picture of what is going to happen further. Now, that is the kind of customer experience everybody would like to experience with us, right? Because nobody would likes to be in a dark room and like literally wait over for the next call or meeting with you for you to clarify things, and then again leave them back in the dark room without giving too much information. So like I said, brand experience is something that begins even before you meet the client, while customer experience is something that starts right from the time you engage them with the services and continues throughout the time you deliver your services, and you give them the closing letter saying, thank you for working with us, thank you for choosing us, and here is the final closure letter of everything that has been done. Now, where do you find all this? Now, that could be your next question. Yes, I would love to give my client the best of the brand experience feeling and the customer experience, but what happens is time is the question for all of us. Now, this is where you are smart enough to use the software that allows you to download all of these documents every now and then and produce it to the client. Because there are some client-facing documents, some are compliance-related documents, some are for your internal accounting-related documents. So the program comes with a vast variety of documents that you can keep generating for hours together. But what you really need to focus on is what does my client need? What do I need? What does Law Society need? What does my accountant need? That's how you should be able to bifurcate, or rather differentiate, and work accordingly using the software. Now, in uLaw, you would literally find all of these, like I said, coming up with logos, banners, and then coming up with all of these client-facing documents with adequate information that, right from the time your client, starts interacting with you to the time you give them a closure letter, every single client-facing document will come out with the logo, banner, signatures, whatnot. So these are where you would be a little smart over using the software to produce the documents that are required for, giving them the top-notch BX and CX. While BX is taken care, CX is also in progress, you're doing great. That's when UX also plays its role. Now, UX, the difference between CX and UX, both are end receiver, if I should say, is the client. But the difference between a CX and UX is that when it comes to UX, there's a multi-touch point experience here. Unlike CX, CX is where you would talk to the client, you would give them the document, and then you would, go off for a few days. And then maybe next time they interact with you, you would again raise an invoice and you provide them. But every time you interact with them, you give them that, the best feeling, customer experience feeling. But in user experience case, now there are different touch points where a client would reach out to you, engage with your services. First time they would inquire, and then they would do a client intake, and then they would do a ID verification with you, and then they would meet up with you or virtually or in person and discuss the case, and then you start rendering services. So each of this phase or stage of your service carries a weightage where you provide them with the service alongside with all that they need to make sure that they're convenient to, for example, if they would like to make a payment using credit card, you would ensure that you have that as a facility. And if they would like to do e-transfer or provide a check. So giving them the right facilities at the right stage at the same time, understanding that you're available for them around the clock to deliver the service, and also provide them all the requirements from day to day, from time to time, which is where they feel the multi-touch point, right? Like, for example, they make a payment and then you immediately provide them with a receipt, and then you raise an invoice, then you immediately send them an invoice before moving funds from Trust to the General. So constantly updating them with the work or with the services that has been rendered or is being rendered, with that touch point where you give them updates is the most important thing that they look forward to, because end of the day it's about the convenience over no information, right? Like, end of the day they want to have a convenient experience instead of whether this office accepts credit card or not. So trying to give them details ahead sometimes helps, and also helps them to self-serve initially, making it more convenient for them, like giving them multiple options for payments, ensuring that you are able to generate the links, ensuring that you provide a instant receipt upon collecting the payment, confirmation rather, on all of these user experience, because user experience, like I said, is multi-touch point, and your client, even though would not like to see hundreds of emails or phone calls coming from you, but at least at the time where you're in touch with them for something, you keep them aware or you keep them posted about what is happening and what you would like to update them with, and all of those things. In the meantime, while we have provided them with a great brand experience and the customers happy, facing all the questions being answered, all the details being provided, timely manner, giving them a great user experience. Finally, it's about your service, which is the actual legal service. Finally, it's the product experience. Obviously, they come to you for your legal work and, to be satisfied as a customer. At the end of the day, it's about if their needs were met and if everything has been taken care of. And this requires very strong business process and strong tools. That's where a legal practice management software comes into picture, helping you by taking off the burden about producing all these documents on your own, right? Because making templates, ensuring the wordings are right, ensuring they are law society approved, ensuring that your clients will be, it's precise at the same time. You try to convey them all the details. Now, a proper product experience here is what leads to a repeated customer service, because end of the day, I would only want to go to a more, experience where I would want to go back to someone who has provided me with the best experience. I don't want to, go back to somebody who did not even bother to reach out to me, provide me all these details, make repeated efforts to, share all the information, give me that, user experience. So end of the day, even though it's the experience, the product experience is all about what you deliver to them, but the overall BX, CX, UX, and PX talks about product experience that leads to repeated customer service, referrals, having people come back to you, because the service that you're rendering goes a long way with one, having them feel that your service was so professional, the brand gave them the value, and also overall user experience and product experience, what they came to you for has been at most taken care of. And that's when it really hits them, and they'd rather get back to you in the future for a repeated service, or rather a repeated customer service takes place. While on the other hand, let's say, the referral also happens because it's all about word of mouth. Now, it's not just about the brand that you're trying to market yourself, but it's also something that your own clients feel the best with the services that they were provided, and repeated customer service takes place alongside with reference. That would, end of the day, help you to expand. And this is where your clients communicate the actual outcomes achieved with the services that was delivered. Now, every time your client experiences the product that you are providing or delivering to them, with great communication and efforts put in by you, obviously your client is more happy, and the actual outcome that is achieved here is the true delivery of your service. Now, there is a difference between sending your client an invoice and a receipt once a file is done and, just closing the file, than sending them a closing letter and thanking them for the opportunity and then closing a file. There's a thin line of difference where that the later is more effective, and they're able to sense the sincerity or sense the professionalism in you trying to service them or communicate with them. course, the second part here, which is whether you have won the case or not for your client, is definitely going to matter. That is one of the things that people definitely look into. But with the final outcome of experiencing BX, CX, UX, PX was all worth the time and money that they put through with you than just looking at whether they won the case or not. Because when you are at the brand level, very important for you to make sure that you were able to motivate the client for them to come back to you multiple times. There are multiple engagements that you would get into with them. There be a referral for new potential clients. So brand value and brand facing, rather, your client facing documents carrying the brand, name or logo, letterhead, all of these really goes a long way, because all these customer facing documents needs to be branded for them to remember you, to not just remember your service, but to remember you as a brand, so they can represent you to someone else, or they can remember you and come back to you. So the logo, the tagline, the brand message, whatever it is that you're trying to convey to them, right? This really should be relevant. At the same time, it should be in such a way that they recognize you. And it could be anything, but make sure that you are trying to keep each and every client intact through your brand value or brand experience that you provide them. Now, if you take uLaw, how does uLaw help you to sustain through this brand experience? Now, like I said, we allow you to upload your logo, banner, or signatures to personalize the letters or client-facing documents with the branding that, we provide you with all the automated tools that helps you to constantly push your client-facing documents with all the brand values and be more creative. Sometimes go a little way longer uploading all of these on your social media, on your websites, because branding is not just through your emails or through your phone calls or through LinkedIn. So today everything is beyond that, where you reach out to give your client some important advices, could be general information that you'd like to share with your, I would even say prospective clients. They could not be your clients yet, but keep in mind they could someday be your customers. So try to be very conscious of your brand value on all the aspects of branding, on social media, on your, while you're interacting with client on emails, phone calls, one-on-one. Try to keep in your mind that you're trying to imprint your brand value to the client. So using a practice management tool with the documents that are automated really goes a long way into brand experience. I would certainly show you all of you how this is by using uLaw, because it's pretty simple, but at the same time, I really want to show how it changes the whole scenario. Like, for example, if you take Starbucks in this case, as you all can see, a simple brand, very similar to Tim Hortons or anything, that has the logo, that has the brand name, a little tagline. But what really makes them special is by personalizing them. Now, this is where the customer experience comes into picture. Now, consistently giving them the top-notch service, consistently providing them, putting in your efforts, providing them with constant updates, providing them with regular phone calls, giving them a very clear communication, giving them the clarity and confidence that how you're ready to protect them legally with the strong legal advice. At the same time, give them that business experience and customer experience too, in the form of, very straightforward agreements, and then invoices, receipts, statement of accounts, all of it. While using this automated tool, practice management system, to capture all the information and produce the documents, it improves your overall customer experience. Rather, they start to feel that, if you are able to provide them the timely service with all of these documents following to it, it leads to very less misunderstandings, or there are no misunderstandings. You're able to remove all the billing misunderstandings. You're able to address to all their questions in the format of providing them the invoice, receipt, statement of account, settlement statements, activities, trust and general ledger, all of them from time to time. So how is that possible? Because you're using a program like uLaw, which will allow you to generate all of these documents and still maintain that customer experience. While user experience is a little bit more, like I said, with a multi-touch point service where, you could give them, for example, in this case, if you take a coffee, Starbucks, you can buy it online, you can use the app and buy the coffee and then collect it from the drive-through, or you can go in, order and pick it up, or you can have the online order. There are different ways, app, online, in person. So giving them that multiple options, giving them that ease and clarity. That's where I said this is a simple example when we take Starbucks, but in your case, giving them the multiple options or methods in which they would like to make a payment would actually be a little different, right? Like go a little extra mile by giving them that flexibility in collecting the payments. Now, if you tell them, no, you only accept e-transfers, you are restricting them from, using their credit card. I'm not saying that you should have an option, but I'm saying that is the extra mile that you go to give them that user experience or UX. Because, again, in today's economy, everything is so automated and everything is so automatic where, if you're using uLaw with an integrated payment system in place, collecting your credit card payments is so simple, not just for you, but also for your clients. You're putting them at so much ease. You're giving them the options. There are multiple payment options. You're giving them installments, or you're giving them these documents ahead of time. Like I said, you're not leaving them in the dark. You're giving them a multi-touch point service where you're constantly on watch and on top of everything and giving them that best user experience of all. While product experience is obviously the end result where you give them that quality in your service through a very easy process. You don't make them go through a very difficult process along with you. And at the same time, you give them the satisfaction, and you also keep in mind that the brand value goes a long way. So the branding, could be the logo, could be the personalized touch of, intake forms, or could be the process that you collect the retainers and provide the receipts immediately. So there are different ways in which you can really give them that product experience, and this is literally how you ensure BX, CX, UX, and PX is high for your law office. Now, I know the last few minutes we really focused on the presentation as to how you could achieve all of this. But now I would only request you, if you're a uLaw user, most of these are available in the program. But again, you will have to make an attempt to upload your logo, your banner, which is your office branding, and then train yourself or your personnel to manage them in the program. Like, make sure that is uploaded, and every time you download your documents, all the branding, office branding is available. You give your clients the appropriate documents from time to time, everything that we discussed, right? And alongside which, you also use a practice management and legal accounting. So you're able to provide all of these quarterly statements also we are talking about, right? Like, let's say, for example, you were servicing a client for more than 3 months, which is more than a quarter. Then as per law society compliances, you're required to give them the settlement plus accounts, and then, settlement plus accounts, and then summary, and then activity, and then bill of costs, all of these. So now this is where a program or a software helps you to implement all of these and download them from time to time. And then this really improves the confidence in your client, gives them an overall, overall experience for all of your clients. Now, if you are all not doing any of these, at least my humble suggestion would be is to start off with your office branding, and then using the documents provided in uLaw to render or to provide it to your client from time to time, and update the accounts and keep servicing them, communicating with them, providing the brand value experience. And that's how your clients are going to come back to you, make you feel more better, make you by introducing you to their friends, and then friends of friends, refer a friend, referrals, and go on from there. So if you are someone who is a uLaw user, you know that we focus on compliances a lot, like, for each of these levels, right? From contacts to the matters to the accounting financial level, we have compliance tab in all of these sections. But in all of these sections, we also have something called as document generation, which is where most of your client-facing documents are also generated, like client intake form, client fee book, client invoice list, timesheets. Some of them are for internal, some of them are for clients. Mostly, let's say, client intake form. So when you intake a client, you would like to give them options, whether you would like to intake them online or you would like to send them a link. You can use a client portal, send them a link and fill it out. So it's, like I said, give them multiple options, give them the ease, some people would be a little old school. They would want to come into your office and do a paper pen method intake and meet you and then pay you, the retainer, in person, either cash or check. Some people would be completely online based, and you would like to also honor that. So always have multiple options. That's where the user experience really plays a role. While in uLaw, we have client intake using client portal. That is one of the things that I would really recommend you all to play around with, to give the ease of intaking a client from the place they are. At the same time, give yourself the benefit of time. This time is so precious to you as a legal professional. Your legal work is what needs more focus on. While if you are doing a practice management more, the time that needs, to be focusing on the legal work would be less. So that's where you would use more of your time to towards legal work, and you could use a software like this to do the client intake, service communication, where everything is branded. So you can go into document generation. Let's say you want to download a client intake form, download it. It comes up with all the details of you, your firm. I'm sure it will have, if you have uploaded the logo and letterhead of your company, it will come up with the logo, banner, and etc. So if not, then obviously you will have to update your logo, banner. But most importantly, the details are all laid out, they're templatized. While you can then, when you're in a matter servicing a client, again, like I said, there are a lot of statements, trust plus general, settlement, bill of cost, statement of activity, and then you have invoices. Again, when you download an invoice, if you have a logo and banner, depending upon the theme, depending upon the type of invoice that you're downloading, you should be able to download it with the banner, logo, and banner. I think I don't have mine with the logo and banner, probably one of the reasons why it's not coming up. Let me check here for a moment. Okay. Yeah, so coming back to it, if you all are uLaw users and are wondering how to update or upload your logo into the program, in our uLaw program, under Help, under Personalized Logo, there is place to upload logo and a banner. Now, if you don't have a banner, you can upload an empty banner, but you will need to upload both in order for you to get the upload button at the bottom highlighted. So you can click on upload and it'll have them uploaded. Now, please make sure that you follow this logo sizing and banner sizing that we've entered here, and make sure they are in PNG format, which is a picture image format, right? And that's how you personalize your logo. And very similar to that is how you personalize your signature as well. Now, these are two important things for you to first attract the brand value, because you're branding all your documents, client-facing documents, most importantly, with all your brand logo, letterhead stuff. So like I said, unfortunately, I didn't carry a logo banner with me today. I would recommend you all to explore that under Help, Personalized Logo, and upload the banner and logo and banner over here. So while not just that, all your client intake forms, conflict screening, a few of them like retainer letters, statement of activity, all the client-facing documents, including the closing letter, will come up automatic with all the details of your firm, your phone number, address, website, etc. So let's say, for example, you have a file that is carrying all the details of the client for the last 3 months. Like, you can download a settlement statement as well as settlement plus accounts and send it to them with the details saying, there you go. I actually have one that comes up with the logo, letterhead, and stuff. That this is actually the settlement plus accounts, giving them an idea as to these are the dockets, or these were the professional services rendered. This was the amount that you had paid us so far into the trust. Other trust funds are here, whatever that came in, that went out. So far, legal fees that has been billed. And then whatever was transferred from trust to the general with the invoiced amounts, whatever was paid into the general as client payment, and a little summary of what has happened in the trust in general. What was paid into trust, and then what was withdrawn from trust, what was then paid into general, how much was billed out of general, everything. End to end, giving your client an idea as to what has happened. That is why we have very clearly put it under quarterly client statements, which means for any client who you have been servicing for more than 3 months, they are required to receive or you're obligated to provide them this information to them. Because, when you're servicing for more than a while, they would not know exactly what is happening in the file. What have you done? What have they paid you? What is remaining in the trust? What needs to be paid more into general if there is anything outstanding from their end? So it is important for you to share this for any quarterly statements. And we have nicely um, divided them as the first 5 or 6 documents are part of client intake. And we have put in those sub headers saying that these are client intake, these are quarterly client statements, these are other statements. So we have everything entered here accordingly for you. All that you need to do is go into the respective tabs and download it and make sure that your logo banner is there for the brand value to be implemented. Alongside with that, we also have a little bit of AI tools that would really help you to generate more common letters and documents, and these are absolutely in accordance to our society rules and regulations, guidelines, but at the same time, they can also be modified into various styles or languages that you want. So you can do it in French. You can also tell the AI system here what you want to write. Like you can record, use our AI tools, and then summarize it. And we also have letters and agreements here with general AI agreements. So you have a closing letter, you have a service agreement. Let's say you'd like to say work pending, if any, number of days to close, 10 days, invoice balance amount 550 or 540, and then work pending, if any, not applicable, list of work completed, maybe drafting and hearing, apply. And then when you download this kind of a document, you would like to see the value of your brand, which is where the logo, letterhead, everything is coming up. And then your client is also able to see all the details as to what was done. Of course, like I said, this will come up with your own logo, letterhead. And a closing letter is really important for your client to, end it on a very smooth note and, giving them an idea as to what was all done, what is pending, how many more days will it take, if it's already done. If everything is done, then conclude the matter and everything has been ended successfully. So the importance of delivering these documents every now and then goes a long way in imprinting into their minds about the value of your brand. How far can you go? And what really takes your brand to the next level is the communication, service, interaction, giving them that overall experience, right? We were talking about the user experience. Now, all of those starts with definitely providing them with alternate options, providing them with these documents every now and then, providing them with enough information, assistance, end-to-end communication with clarity. And last but not the least, everybody would like to see the accounts, make sure that their numbers are matched with that of what has been paid, what has been invoiced, what has been serviced to them, what has been agreed on the retainer, what has, maybe what is due in the coming days. Now that's where accounting comes into picture. Now you could go a little more by providing your client if there's anything that they need, like, if they would like to see any journal, just specific to them, analyze anything here. In most of the cases, accounts is for general purposes, just for your internal or for an accountant or for an auditor or for law society purposes. But matter, any documents generated from the matter level could definitely be really helpful to the client, including a trust plus general report, giving them an idea as to what was deposited into trust, what was withdrawn from trust, what was provided into general, and what was withdrawn from general. Now that's how a client trust plus general account will look. Just imagine you providing a document like this to your client, and within seconds they would understand this is what they paid, this was what was invoiced, this was what was moved out of trust for the purpose of legal fee, for purpose of maybe a disbursement. Everything that is captured here includes the trust and general account over here that has come in and gone out of trust and general respectively. So net, it all starts with branding. So if you are someone who's going to, implement these using uLaw, you have the program, you have everything that are going to be downloadable with your brand value, brand logo, etc. Basically, you just need to upload your logo, your banner here, follow the instructions, and then every document, every single client-facing documents that you download will come up with the brand value, logo, letterhead, and alongside that, you also have other documents like under compliance is the quarterly statements, under contacts like client fee book. You can just go into client fee book and download it and ask them to take a look at what is pending to be paid at this point, and if they have what was raised as invoice, what was transferred, everything will be clear over here, right? What was totally invoiced, what was totally paid, any invoice balance, anything owed, and everything, all that comes up with your signature because you would have uploaded the signature also under the help. So if you would like to use this to the maximum, right, these are the documents that are readily available for you. All that you really need to do is upload your logo, banner, and signature to get it personalized. And then most of them that we discussed today, saying these are some documents nice to provide, and all the other points that we discussed today are readily available for you to take action on. But before that, revisit your office branding, train yourself or your assistant, your co-workers, your associate staff, whoever manages with the client-facing documents to, start using certain documents that we discussed today, including closing letter, opening letter, which is client intake form, retainer, checklist, and using most of these with the practice management software would help you to be on top of the legal accounting and provide more updates to your client with an improved interaction and providing them an overall experience, making sure that, at any cost, they want to come back to you and they want to refer you to their friends or their circle, making sure that you are, going to have a repeated client or a new referral. End of the day, they leave with a sense of satisfaction that, is all that is more important as part of today's BX, CX, UX, and PX. that leaves us with end of the webinar today. And I'd like to open the floor for any questions. And I'll also share the attendance link for you all. Yes, today's webinar is a 1-hour professional from CPD credits. And just for you all to know in the future as well, uLaw only, we only provide rather professional from CPD. We don't have any substantiative CPD. I hope that really helps all of you. I think we provide about 8 to 9 professional some CPDs a year. We are trying to get more certified. So if you all have any questions from today's session, I would really welcome you all to start entering them on the chat window, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. At the same time, I'm going to be sharing the attendance link and topic for today's session. So please hang in tight to provide your attendance, and also let us know if you have any feedbacks, and there are going to be some useful links that I'm going to be sharing. So please hang in there for another couple minutes to, mark them all. So this is the topic name followed by the attendance link, and it is available for 1-hour professionalism CPD. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for joining today's session. And have a wonderful weekend, all of you. And please make sure to provide your attendance, so in case you come back in future requesting for details of the webinar, we would be able to share. And you're welcome to share your feedbacks as well, as it will help us to only improve. Any questions from today's webinar, feel free to enter on the chat window, and I'll be happy to take that. In the meantime, I would be stopping the recording soon. Once again, I wanted to thank each and every one of you for joining today's webinar, and we will have the topics out for next week soon. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful weekend.